All right, welcome everyone to this new year SIG Instrumentation meeting. It's the first one. It's the 4th of January, and it seems that we have one topic on the agenda, which is from Polly. I don't know if Polly is here.
Yeah, Polly is here. I see him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Hello.
So, do you want to start with that right away, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Looks like we do. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we discussed this already in the October meeting last year when I was first trying to get contextual logging promoted to beta. At that time, we decided to postpone because there were questions about performance impacts. And now I'm basically bringing it onto the table for discussion again. I think we are ready. Han had questions about or concerns about performance. So I did, in response to that, I did performance comparisons with the feature on and off at different verbosity levels using the scheduler perf performance test that SIG scheduling is using. That's a particularly well-suited test because it's unit-based, so you can run fairly quickly with low delays through quite a bit of code in the kube scheduler, which is performance sensitive. And then you can use bench stat to do statistics on the before and after results. And that showed that at production levels with verbosity 3, everything was okay. Pretty much no significant difference, or even sometimes for whatever reasons, I think it was even a bit faster. At verbosity 5, which according to our recommendations is for debugging, so not something that's recommended for production, it was a bit slower, but the log output also was significantly more useful for debugging. So I think that's overall a good state of affairs to enable the feature by default. And that's what I have pending in that enhancement pull request. And just today, I also created a pull request for the Kubernetes repository, which basically just flips the feature gate to beta and enables it by default. So that's the second PR here. We also discussed that we should closely monitor for potential performance regressions in any kind of or whatever scalability jobs we have from SIG scalability. And just today, I also asked them on their chat whether or which particular job that should be. But given that we are in a fairly early development phase of 130, I think it makes sense to just go ahead with it, keep an eye on performance and revert if necessary, but hopefully not.
I thank you, Patrick, for doing all the analysis. It makes me a lot more comfortable about flipping the thing on. I was just, flipping the thing on without knowing I just felt like it was not prudent because
No, you're right. I had done this analysis before, but things keep changing, so it certainly made sense to just double check again.
Yeah, I'm way more comfortable with turning this on now. So thank you.
So Patrick, are you planning to add a new measurement in the scalability jobs just to monitor logging?
It is covered indirectly because SIG scheduling also runs jobs regularly and stores result in perf dash. So if it affects them, it will show up in both jobs. There isn't anything particular for this feature because it's just cross-cutting. It basically affects everything, or hopefully doesn't. So there's no specific test that just stresses logging, but that wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be realistic.
I see, makes sense. I think we all agree on the fact that it's looking good for the promotion this time. Han, you are going to look after it, right?
To look at what?
You are going to look after this PR and graduation, right?
Sure.
All right. Do you have anything else, Patrick?
No, that's all.
All right. Then we have another topic on the agenda, and I guess it's from Catherine. If you want to
yes.
speak up.
Yeah. So I have a new PR on ending stable matrix pre-submit for kubestate matrix agent. Yeah, basically it uses most code from KK repo, because KK repo already has a framework to check stable matrix. So I use most of the code from there and update some. So I and the new so I have a doc here. Yeah. So first I add a new function named the new family generator version 2. So it has a label. Yeah, you can see we have a label there. So it makes the static analysis easier. And it's working now. I already generate one metric and it's validating around this metric. And we can move gradually later. Yeah.
Awesome. Then we can start like migrating a bunch of the code, because we have auto-generated documentation, and if you output the stuff in the same exact format, we can use basically the same script to auto-generate the documentation.
Yes. And there's some corner cases. So as we know, some KSM metrics labels are dynamic. For example, it has a label ABC. Sometimes it only expose label AB. Sometimes it expose label BC. So my proposal is just to assign an empty value to only if this label is not used. For example, ABC. If C is not used, I will assign an empty value to the label.
But that's actually incorrect documentation, because it will have a multitude of labels. I would actually just put variable labels. If we can't determine the labels, I would just write variable labels there.
Variable labels. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
we always have a finite list of labels that are exposed, and there is only two different kind of metrics that have labels that are set by the user. So for these ones, we don't really care. But for the others, there is always a finite set. It's just that in some scenarios, you may only have one that is exposed and not four. But in some others, you might have all four of them. So they should be documented, I think.
Maybe we should only generate the ones for the ones that are fully static.
okay, it will be easier.
Yeah, that'll be easier. And then we can use the auto-generated documentation code, and then we can generate exactly the same documentation for KSM as we do for main kits. That would be awesome, right? Like, we don't actually have to manually curate this list anymore.
Are we only focusing on stable?
Metrics? We generate documentation for all metrics in Kubernetes now. But yeah, that was part of the extending the metrics stability cap, was making the static analysis more robust to handle all edge cases.
Yeah, the example is in the test data. If you click the test data, test stable metric list, so you can see the generator metric list.
Yeah, it's in YAML format, so we can literally just, as long as we output it in the exact same YAML format, the documentation code should be 100% reusable. Yeah, in fact, we may want to shift that documentation code into a separate repo. That way we can just import it and use it.
Yep, that would be ideal for sure.
Yeah, that would be ideal for sure.
The only thing I would be worried about is, like, for example, seeing this metric that is marked as stable. That might not be something we want to share in the doc straight away. Because
we want to change that data. We want to change the data.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we might want to wait a bit for the documentation, but it will always help figuring out like which metric is which state for us.
Yes, I agree. Because once we auto-generate the documentation, we want the stability levels to be exactly the same, so that people do not get confused about the guarantees. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have one question. So for this PR, I think we can merge first, or we need to wait for the naming changing from stable to beta.
Are you generating?
We can merge that already, or like
You can merge it if
like
you
we
have
need to
to.
have some reviews, and then I'm fine with merging it. It's just that for when we will merge the documentation, we'll have to wait for the correct stability level to be set.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes,
The only thing.
I agree with it.
Just so that like we don't advertise information that is incorrect.
Yeah, or inconsistent with what our
Yeah.
official documentation says. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I agree with this. Yes, we don't want to confuse people, and it's confusing right now, and we should just fix it. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's awesome. Nice work, Catherine. This is a great development for JSM. I mean, like unifying stability levels across like instrumentation repos is just a great idea. Just a great idea.
Yeah, and I think the KK repo code is well written, so I can just get what I want and delete I don't want, and it can work.
Nice. I actually think that the static analysis code, which me and Merrick post, is actually quite terrible. But okay.
But even this part of the code, like we can expose it in some library next to the original static analysis code, instead of having it like live in KSM. Like we can have everything live in one repo and then pick and choose from there.
The code quality is not something I'm proud of. I will be honest with you. But it works, and it's continued to work for a long time. But static analysis
sounds good. I will try to have a look.
Just kind of yucky in general. Static analysis go? It's like groping around the dark.
Yeah, I think after we added a new function named version 2, so it has a label on this function, so it's very easy to do the static analysis. It's almost the same to what we did in KK repo. Yeah, KK repo, I think we also get one function and get one label there.
Yeah, I've unified all the function calls and made them consistent across the code base in order to be able to parse everything. Yes. That was fun.
And that's easier than your initial proposal, Catherine, because like having it as a parameter makes it easier for the contributors to know where they need to put the labels, compared to before, like it was just like building a list. So yeah.
Yeah, we need to put a label.
Like this approach. Yeah, kind of like this approach.
But nice work, Catherine. This is great progress.
Definitely.
I was actually quite skeptical that we would be able to get static analysis for KSM because everything looked quite dynamic. But you did a nice job here.
Yes, after ending that new function, it's much easier. Before, yeah, it's hard.
All right, it seems like we are set on this particular topic. Does anyone have another topic for today?
No, but next time we should talk about initiatives that we want to pursue over the course of the year.
Yep.
Let's do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And everyone should think about it a little bit because.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome.
I have a quick question. Last time in the KubeCon call out, there was a issue that was mentioned about usage data metrics upgrading from C groups V1 to C groups V2. I'm not seeing that issue in the repo or.
There should be an issue.
Yeah, there is a mention. At the very least, there is a mention here.
Yeah, important. Requires using C group V1. There you go. Scroll back up. Scroll back up. Scroll back down. Just look for C groups V1. Control F.
Yeah.
V1.
Oh yeah.
Important. Requires using C groups V1. It does not work
Yeah.
for SIG v2.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
basically stops.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the issues here. So is it okay if we, I can start looking at it?
Yeah, absolutely create an issue.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And try pulling, I guess, Philip, maybe he has still
But
some
he's not been super
involvement.
responsive.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have anyone really owning that at the moment, do we?
Yeah, and he stopped working on it recently. Like you can see the activity just died off. I mean,
Yeah.
it obviously died off because it doesn't work with C groups v2. And C groups v1 was 125. So it just basically stops working on modern versions of Kubernetes.
Yeah, we need to figure out a plan for this.
Yeah. If we don't want to discontinue this, we should just discontinue this. Otherwise, let me ping Patrick and see what's going on.
Yeah, we should at least figure out like if we want to continue promote it and put some effort to support C groups v2, or should we just discontinue it completely? Because we don't have like that many resources, and supporting C groups v2 sounds like a big involvement.
Yeah, I mean, it would just make it start working again. That's the thing.
Yeah. Do you want to do that, take that offline, or should we discuss it in the next meeting and try to get Philip on board?
Yeah, let me ping Philip. It is Philip, sorry. Right.
Okay. Yeah. I will add it to the agenda, and if he's able to make it, we can discuss it. All right. Is there anything else?
Not from me. I guess we can